To me, the most thrilling thing that I've done in my life was to play live music in front of people, because it's the anti-me. I'm very socially awkward, I'm very shy, I'm very reserved, and I'm having a really hard time with this whole camera thing right now.
If the stack is high against you.
This is the band, the Obscure80's, and I had this idea that people wanted to hear the great music from the 80s that maybe got lost along the way, or that maybe they haven't heard in a long time. And so I put this ad on Craigslist and came up with these guys one by one. Somehow they all bought into my scheme, and here we are. Right now, we're still in the early stages, mainly practice stages, although we have played one show at the Del Mar Fair earlier this summer, and we've got a big show coming up on September 18th at Brick by Brick in San Diego. And that's our goal ultimately, is to have a couple shows a month at clubs like that.
I was thinking about doing something myself. I happened to catch a Craigslist ad that Rod put in, and pretty much doing everything that I would do if I were starting my own band. And so we got together, we talked, and kind of, the rest went from there. We kind of added people, and just having a blast doing these songs that I grew up with, that I love, that I've always wanted to do, but haven't had the opportunity to do.
I kept looking in Craigslist and saw this advertisement for 80s band. I'm a product of the 80s. I cut my teeth on 80s rock and roll in college. And so a lot of the tunes that we're doing, are just major flashbacks. I actually did them back in the 80s, even though I can't remember it. But anyways, it's wonderful being with these guys. They're really good musicians. Don't let them fool you. They're really good.
Just been so fortunate to find this fantastic group of guys here. Really couldn't have asked for anything more. And so it's been a very good move for me.
I grew up in the 80s, obviously is really influenced by that music. I've been a musician all my life. I actually still do that. I work in media, so I'm editing and writing music all the time. I do a lot of that kind of stuff, but being able to come here and just kind of have some fun it's a great outlet.
This is everything all rolled into one. It's fun, it's work, it's therapy, it's all of those things. I get the most enjoyment from music.
When I get here every time, I'm like so happy I came here, because it's so fulfilling.
About a year ago, I was watching a documentary. Can't remember the name of it, but the guy said that, geez, if you're not playing rock and roll with people, then you're not playing rock and roll.
Recording, for one, you have an audience of none, and you have endless opportunities to make mistakes and do-overs, and it's not that fun. It can be tedious. Playing live, you feed off that energy from people in the crowd. We feed off each other's energy, and we get feedback from the crowd, and it just makes the whole experience alive, electric. It's hard to explain to somebody who's never been on a stage in front of 100 people or 200 people or 1,000 people what that energy really feels like. It's the ultimate high. There's no prescription out there that can do what playing live in a band can do.
Ultimately, playing in front of people is the, like Rod said, the highest you can get. If the crowd's into it, and we've got a good sound, we're tight. Playing with amateurs isn't any fun, but playing with good musicians that are tight, that are all into the music, and playing in front of a crowd is what it's all about.
Music is the soundtrack to life, and it amplifies whatever feeling. And I think once you kind of hone in on your favorite artists and artists that you resonate with, You play a song and I get goosebumps if it's the right song. It really connects with me. So to be able to play some of the songs that I connected with when I grew up with, that's what we do. It's great. It's really great.
My whole life has been about music since I was a little kid. I mean, there's been a song in my head since I was 4 years old, and it hasn't left. And I hope that day never comes.